Welcome to the Generation Cedar podcast. I'm Kelly Crawford, wife and homeschooling mom to 11. You have come to the right place if you crave to live and parent with purpose and need encouragement and inspiration to do your most important job, raising kids for the kingdom. Join me here every other Monday for your short, powerful shot in the arm. Let's dive into today's episode. Are you a homeschooling mom who's always worried that you're not doing it right? You're not homeschooling right. You're always measuring your methods against the conventional classroom? If so, today's episode is going to be a huge encouragement to you. It's called Relax. You're already a teacher, the homeschool advantage. You know, researchers tell us that the ideal teaching situation is one teacher for one or a few students, more like a tutoring situation. So by default, the one teacher per classroom full of students is not the ideal. It's just the reality, and the classroom methods used are the best way to handle that disadvantaged reality. Okay, so think about that. Your reality looks different. Shouldn't you consider maybe even delight in using different methods because you can? I suggest that you have at your disposal a huge advantage that you should fully realize, the advantage of real life learning. I remember the first year we homeschooled. I had a second grader and a 2-year-old. Teaching a 7-year-old at home after standing in front of a classroom teaching high school students, I thought this should be interesting. My thought process was something like, I think we should do lots of worksheets or something. Oh, and a bulletin board. I know we have to have one of those. I seriously made a full-sized bulletin board with a caterpillar on it and something about reading because I so equated the traditional schoolroom with the quote, right way to educate. That was about the sum total of what I felt like was my second grade teaching expertise. But soon I learned one of the most profound things through homeschooling. It wasn't about teaching second grade. It wasn't about worksheets or classrooms or lesson plans or bulletin boards. It wasn't even about school. All of those words had been created so we could better communicate, but the only real word I needed to understand was education. It was about helping my children learn what they needed to learn. And that changed a lot about how we looked at education and about the words we had believed were synonymous with education. I had my 7-year-old in a classroom at home doing school, but I had a 2-year-old learning every bit as much during the day from me, his teacher. One difference? He was more intrigued and curious about the world around him than she was, and was therefore actually learning more and learning what was more meaningful for him. We had taught her a whole language without even trying. Without a workbook, without a grade, without a desk. How? The answer to that question unravels a lot of secrets about educating children. I remember flipping through her second grade workbook. She did the work, but she looked bored, and neither of us was very excited about homeschooling. I looked at the pages of clocks with the hands drawn in and questioned for the first time if it was all necessary. It must be necessary, I thought. The professionals do it. And there I went again. Think about what it would look like if a teacher tried to teach her classroom full of 7-year-olds all their math concepts through casual dialogue. I know from being in the classroom, order is paramount. Quietness, stillness, and uniformity. That was the main objective behind the methods, which is fine if that's your reality. But we were homeschooling. I had one student. So the next day, we skipped the clock section. But during the day, I tried to pay attention to questions about time. This was important, teaching a concept in the context of need to know. So when my daughter asked, "Mommy, can we eat? I'm hungry." I said, "We will eat at 12. Do you know when that is?" "No, ma'am." Okay, look at the clock. The small hand tells the hour and the big hand tells how many minutes have passed in that hour. Is it 12 yet? Well, you tell me, where is the small hand? You get the picture. She learned to tell time effortlessly without another worksheet. Since then, none of my children have ever filled out a time worksheet or worksheets about money or counting or opposites or colors. So many concepts. We have multiplied that idea to many other areas and have found that there's a whole lot of learning that's happening in real life. This life learning relieves pressure, is actually faster because a concept learned within a logical framework often clicks better than learning apart from context, and works well because of short attention spans. Am I saying we never use worksheets or textbooks? No. Nor am I opposed to having children sit down at a desk or table. My children do it every day. And some kids prefer that method. But understanding the special advantage we have to teach through dialogue, through experience during a regular day relieves us of a lot of unnecessary school. To know that textbooks and desks and schedules can be our servants and not our masters. Life is a classroom. Take advantage of it. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. I want to invite you to come over to my blog at generationscedar.com. I have been writing there for 17 years, and you'll just find a treasure trove of encouragement, inspiration. I talk about all things Christian motherhood, parenting in general, and homeschooling, and so much more. I know you will be inspired and encouraged. And I would just love to connect with you too. If you subscribe, we start a conversation and you'll receive a weekly question and answer and also a link to every other week's podcast. So hop over there, subscribe, and let's chat. Hope to hear from you soon.